Today we're going to draw a detailed sketch of an animal, and I've chosen to draw a cheetah. To start off with, pressing very lightly, map out the shapes of our animal. I've chosen some circles, triangles, and I've drawn a line down the centre for good proportions. Now I'm going to start to add some detail into the nose and start to refine my lines. I'm using the guidelines to guide me, and I'm drawing some detailed shapes and lines around the ears, nose and the mouth. And this is where you can start to rub out your guidelines. And I'm starting to add in the darker areas around the eye and next to the nose. I'm always going to be looking at the picture on the right, always looking at my reference material to make sure that my animal is similar. So I'm going to start marking out where these areas of dark fur are. I'm not just going to colour them in and shade them in dark, I'm going to shade them in later on by making them look like fur. So at this point it's just about making sure that everything's in the right place before you start to shade it in. So I'm using a H pencil nice and lightly, and now I'm going to start to add in some darker areas with a darker pencil. So I've got a 2B next. I'm going to mark out these areas where the spots are. So remembering to leave them white areas in the eyes to show the reflection. And if you're unhappy with it at any point, you can always rub it out like I've done there to make sure them eyes are nice and even and looking in the same direction. So starting to build up the spots. Adding the shadow under the chin. So remembering when you're shading this in, you want to make it look like fur, so you're going in the same direction with your pencil. At the moment it's looking very light, but as soon as you add that dark pencil it really starts to jump out. So now I've got my darker pencil, I'm going to start to shade in these darker areas, leaving white gaps so you can see where the nostrils are, you can see where the light's hitting. In the actual photograph you can't see as much white, but feel free to add white areas just to make it stand out more. My picture doesn't look exactly like the one on the right, but it looks like a cheetah so far, so good. Okay, starting to add some extra shade in to the darker areas, adding that dark area around the eye, inside the pupil. And now as I add the fur in, as you can see I'm doing it in sections and I'm going down, and it's it's going to have an edge to it. I'm not just shading in one full shape. I've left some fur. I didn't like the nose, so I've rubbed that out and pulled that down a little bit, because as you can see on the picture on the right, it wasn't as high as that. So I'm not afraid to rub out any areas, even if I've spent a bit of time on them. It's all about refining and improving your work. So now I'm going to start adding in the spots and adding some shading, and you can see that I'm going in the same direction for the fur. And if you put if it is starting to smudge, you can put a piece of paper underneath your hand. This also allows you to concentrate on one section at a time. It's a good idea to, if you're doing the eyes, definitely keep checking to make sure that they're looking in the same direction, that the white areas are in the same direction, because this is what will make the picture really stand out, is them eyes. So adding in the darker areas now of the fur. And the darker area back in the nose again. Feel free to pause this video at any time and carry on with your illustration, your drawing. So you can see that the head isn't just it's not just a round line, it's all got an edge that looks like fur, so it's all small little marks. Starting to stand out a little bit more now, making them dark areas in the ear. And as soon as you add the fur to the spots, it really does stand out. Improve that mouth a little bit. And as you can see, there's some white fur on this cheetah. It's obviously harder to create the white fur because you don't want to press down too hard with your pencil. You can always create these white areas a little bit later when you use your rubber to improve it and add highlights. It's the bit where it gets a bit more fun, where you really start to see the drawing coming alive. So I've got an even darker pencil now, more like a 2B. I'm starting to add in the shading, using my rubber to add highlights. Adding them fine details like the whiskers, tufts of hair by the ears. And then finally rubbing out any pencil marks on the outside of the drawing. And there you have it, the final piece. Thank you for watching. See you next time.